South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sports book and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Sunday morning. The Sunday after Super Bowl Sunday, a little bit more relaxed here, but certainly is going to be starting to get a lot of activity here in the book here in Las Vegas at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on the Las Vegas Strip, Las Vegas Boulevard. And we are coming to you from that complex right here at the South Point Studios. And, of course, you get to see us and hear us if you want to at YouTube. Just go to YouTube. Punch in South Point Studios, you get to the page, and then you just click it on, and you'll be able to see and hear us on the Race Day Show coming to you live and direct from these studios in Las Vegas. And we welcome all of our listeners listening on the radio stations that we have, and certainly our anchor stations here in Las Vegas, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. And of all of our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas.world, .global, your iPhone, your Android with the KSHP app, and, of course, the podcasting. Simply put, however, wherever, whenever you get us, technically anywhere. Welcome to the show. Welcome to this Sunday show. Again, the weather is the primary news item as far as horse racing and racing both under the hood and under the hide, so to speak, because they just announced not too long ago that the Daytona 500, the premier auto race, the Daytona 500, has been postponed until tomorrow because of the rainy, bad weather there at the racetrack in Daytona. So that's been canceled. We understand that Gulfstream Park in Tampa Bay will be running today under those rainy type of conditions there with no turf racing at either track there. They have come off the turf in all of the races, turf races at Gulfstream and at Tampa Bay. And as far as Southern California is concerned, well, the anchor dropped about halfway through yesterday. They canceled tomorrow's special President's Day race day card at Santa Anita because of impending weather coming through there. Now, they say it's, as far as Southern California, is going to be about, they think about an 85% chance of getting enough rain to cause the racetrack to cancel there. I have a question for both Jonathan and John Linda when they get on board. And how can they run all of those great races at the fairgrounds in sloppy conditions there with no problems? And then as soon as they have an expected rainstorm coming through Southern California, bink, cancel the card. We'll wait and see if they have a logical answer to that. I don't. And so Santa Anita's been canceled tomorrow, their special President's Day program. And of course, Golden Gate was canceled a few days ago on their special President's Day Monday program because of lack of entries. So we have a couple of dynamics working as far as California and the cancellations for what they wanted to have as special President's Day cards there. They will not. There will be no racing on President's Day holiday tomorrow. We won't have a show, but we do have to remind you that of the tracks that don't normally run on Mondays for President's Day tomorrow, you still have Oaklawn Park and Aqueduct that will be running tomorrow on a special President's Day card. So we wanted to keep you in mind on that. One race today will produce Kentucky Derby leaderboard points, and that is the Sunland Derby, the Sunland Park Derby, which will be held obviously at Sunland Park. It holds 20 Kentucky Derby leaderboard points to the winner of that race. That'll come up later. And, of course, they also have a race for 3-year-old fillies, the Suncoast, but that will not produce any leaderboard points for the Kentucky Oaks. And that is for today. Of course, you know the big racing day yesterday, I should say. And, of course, all of the fantastic racing that happened in the slop, in the mud, and all that other stuff there at the fairgrounds. Let's go take a look at what happened there. Yesterday, they started out the races with the sloppy racetrack, and it didn't get any better over the 14 cards. 14 races on the card yesterday, sloppy conditions. They stayed on the turf course for the stakes races. And so on a soft turf course, they ran the stakes races there. Just a note for fairgrounds. We started out the stakes races yesterday. There were 6 of them, but we're going to get right to the big race, the Risen Star. $400,000 Grade 2 Risen Star, 50 Kentucky Derby points. And the winner, coming from off the pace in the slop to run down the pace setter, was Sierra Leone, the Chad Brown trainee, Tyler Gaffleone aboard. That was Gaffleone's second win of the day, both stakes races, by the way. Paid $740, and you know that Jonathan Hardoon, from the first time I asked him about the Risen Star, way back at the beginning of the week, said he loved Sierra Leone. He loved the horse throughout the week, and boy, let me tell you, that horse performed with panache yesterday. I mean, he did not look like he was going to be any part of the winner's celebration there until the top of the stretch, and he unleashed a closing charge that caught Track Phantom with a few yards to go before they hit the wire. Sierra Leone caught him and went by him, and Sierra Leone a solid win in the Risen Star for Chad Brown and Tyler Gaffleone. 50 Kentucky Derby points, puts them right up with the leaders in the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Track Phantom was second after setting an early pace, and Catching Freedom finished third in that race. Catching Freedom, ridden by Luis Saez. So that's how they finished in the Risen Star. Earlier, the Rachel Alexandra for 3-year-old fillies, and of course this race held 50 Kentucky Oaks points for the Kentucky Oaks. In this race, this $300,000 Grade 3 race, the one there was Tarifa, I should say. Tarifa, trained by Brad Cox, got the victory. Flavian Pratt aboard. This was Pratt's second win of the day and his second stakes win of the day at that. Tarifa paid $7 even for the win. That was a solid win, too. She came down the middle of the racetrack and ran right by the leaders, and they got the win easily. Intricate, which was a big bet on the board. I mean, Intricate went off as the favorite in this race, finished second. Perfect Shot was third. The disappointment in the race was VV's Dream that really guessed didn't really like that course at all. Tarifa wins for Flavian Pratt and Cox in the Rachel Alexandra. Other stakes races on the card earlier at the fairgrounds included the Fairground Stakes at 1 1/8 on the soft turf. The winner there was Beatbox, Joel Rosario's third win of the day and his second stakes win of the day for Cherie DeVaux. Beatbox paid $11.60, outrunning Strong Quality and Johnny's Fireball, a big long shot there. In the Mineshaft Stakes at a mile and 16th for 4-year-olds and up, the winner there was Money Supply, who supplied money for his backers. Joe Sharp, the trainer, Tyler Gaffleone's first stakes win of the day, $20.20 there, outrunning Best Actor, who finished second, and Gasoline, who finished third. Jonathan Hardoon both had the winner, of course, of the Risen Star on both of these last two stakes races we talked about. His picks finished second. They were live horses in both the Fairground Stakes and the Mineshaft. The Albert Stall, 10th race on the card, on the soft turf at a mile and 16th. The winner there was Spirit and Glory for Flavian Pratt and Robert Falcone Jr. $8 even for the win there, outrunning Trying My Heart Out and Watch This Birdie, who finished third. And in the earlier Colonel Power on the off the turf, this one came off the turf, 5.5 furlongs. It was raced on the main track. The winner there was Minnesota Ready, Tom Amos trainee, Joel Rosario riding at 460, outrunning Just Might and Private Rick. But all in all, on the day with the off track going all day long, was exciting racing yesterday at the fairgrounds, and can't wait where Sierra Leone goes next. Certainly one of the leaders there. And Jonathan Hardoon really liked this horse, and I can see that he really likes him today, that's for sure. At Aqueduct, couple of stakes races there. The Ruthless Stakes won by Helena's Forte. Eric Cancel for Philip Bauer, paying $6.20, outrunning Jaela Princess and Value Area. In the Broadway, the winner there was Security Code. Philip Serpa, trainee there. Jose Lascano rode at $13.80, outrunning Venti Valentine and Can't Hurt Love, who finished third in that one. Pick six paid well at Aqueduct yesterday, paid $33,322.50. And Jerry Jackowitz, his audible pick on the day yesterday at Aqueduct when his first horse got scratched, Balouse, won easily in the fourth race. He said that horse looked like maybe a singleton if you were playing pick fours, pick threes, and the pick five in that sequence. So Jerry gave us a winner there. Santa Anita yesterday, the Baffle Stakes won by Stay Hot. And both the trainer, Peter Urton, and the jockey, Antonio Frisu, appropriately named this horse. These guys both together have been hot recently at Santa Anita. They get the win in the Baffle at 660, outrunning Hearted and Charge for Gold, who finished third in that race. John Lendo came with a winner for us on the show in the third race with Shady Tiger that paid $7 even. Jerry Jackowitz came with a reverse play that not only hit the reverse exacta, but the trifecta and the superfecta in the fifth race. His key horse ran second. Favorite won that race at $5.40. The reverse dollar exacta, $13.70. The reverse dollar try, $66.80. And the reverse 10-cent super paid $75.55. I want to thank Mr. Jackowitz for that reverse play and John Lindo for his winner. And on the card yesterday, Juan Hernandez and Hector Barrios both had a couple of wins each. Gulfstream Park, the Royal Delta won by Honor de Lady. Jose Ortiz, third win of the day for Safi Joseph Jr., 11:40 there, outrunning Soul of an Angel. Big long shot there, Soul of an Angel. And Mary Quite Contrary finished third. It was a battle of jockey supremacy yesterday at Gulfstream between Jose Ortiz and Paco Lopez. They were tied after Ortiz won the Royal Delta, but Paco won the final race to get 4 wins on the day and pay $13.40 there. It was kind of fun to watch those two guys go at it at Gulfstream yesterday. Oaklawn Park's Dixie Bell won by Extreme Diva for McLean Robertson. Eduardo Gallardo, the winning jockey there, $6.60 for Extreme Diva, outrunning Blue Squall and Tanya Showers. And in the Laurel races there were 4 stakes races. The John B. Campbell won by It's Sizzling Time, $25.40. Denelli Morris, Charming Way, paying $6 even. In the Barbara Fritchie, the winner there was Apple Pickle for Sheldon Russell and Brittany Russell together. They paid $12.40 in that race. And then they came back in the General George and won that as well as a team. Brittany Russell trained, Sheldon Russell ridden. Post-time wins and pays a favorite price at $2.60. So they won a couple of stakes races together yesterday at Laurel. Finally, at Turfway Park, the Dust Commander, won by Shirley Furious. Abel Sadilla aboard at $8.90. And that's just about how it went yesterday. And again, remember, today, off the turf at Tampa and Gulfstream. The weather is raining down there. The Daytona 500 postponed till tomorrow, and they've already canceled Santa Anita for tomorrow's President's Day card. You're up to date on all of that, and now we're going to go to our first break. When we come back, your racing menu, and then we'll get started with Jonathan Ardoon. We got Jerry Jackowitz. We got John Lindo, and, of course, we got Rich Eng. So don't go away on this Sunday Race Day show.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Okay, back on Race Day Las Vegas for this Sunday. A quick note of the weather across the country. There's a mess going on in Florida. It's just rain, and more rain in Florida, that's for sure. But it's all down in the south right there over Florida, it seems. And the rest of the East Coast is clear. I understand that Aqueduct's beautiful today, rather there. It's gorgeous here in Las Vegas. The sun is shining bright here. And right now we've got 52 degrees. We're going to go up to 69, and we'll be 70 degrees by tomorrow. President's Day Monday. As far as the weather on the West Coast, everything else in between is pretty clear. As far as the weather on the West Coast, well, you got some action going on, snow in Idaho and Utah. Right now, along the West Coast, it's clear. But they're expecting, they say, rain tomorrow, so we'll go with that. But it's going to be a clear day today at Santa Anita. Maybe the rain will come in a little bit later on. In the meantime, let's get started with your racing menu today. Here's the menu of racetracks available today as they stand right now in the racebook, simulcast centers, and racetracks around the country. Remember, first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone because we're in the Pacific time zone right here in Las Vegas. After all, it is Race Day Las Vegas. And these will be the first post times that roll out in our racebooks here at the South Point and in the Pacific time zone. If you're listening anywhere else in any other time zone and all those other places that we mentioned at the top of the show when we welcome you to the show, adjust to the Pacific time zone from whatever one you're in. I don't want you to miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad. Now let's get started with your menu. We begin the menu with Gulfstream Park. And as we said, again, at Gulfstream Park, no turf racing today, which means the first race, the fifth race, the eighth race, and the 10th race. 3, 5, 8, and 10 will be off. 2, 5, 8, and 10. 2, 5, 8, and 10 will come off the turf on to the tappet of footing. Pick 6 jackpot carryover there at Gulfstream Park, a nice one, $244,206 in the Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot there at Gulfstream. And their first post time for the 10 races today is at 9:10. Then we have Aqueduct, the big A in New York, and as we said, it is just gorgeous today at Aqueduct. Right now it's sunny, 31 degrees. The track is going to be fast at Aqueduct. Finally, they're getting good weather there. And a first post time, no carryovers, but the first post time at Aqueduct is set at 9:20. Feature race today is the Mattie May Stakes. The $100,000 race, a mile for 3-year-old fillies, will be the 8th. Right now, no scratches on the board. 7-5 favorite there is My Main Squeeze with Jose Lezcano. First post time at the Big A, 9:20. Then we go to Laurel Park. Laurel Park has 9 races from Maryland, and Laurel Park, of course, first post time is 9:25. 9:25 at Laurel Park today. Then we'll go next to Tampa Bay Downs. Again, no turf racing at Tampa Bay, which means make that the 5th race. Well, they only had 1 race scheduled for the turf at Tampa Bay. I guess they knew that bad weather was coming. So the 5th race is off the turf. The rest are on the main, as well as that one. 9 races today at Tampa Bay and a first post time of 9:30. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $4,026. Then we go to Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas. 9 races at Oaklawn. First post time at Oaklawn is at 10:30. Fairgrounds, the day after. I would imagine the track is probably still a little bit off after all that rain they had. Fairgrounds has 8 races, and their first post time is at 10:45. 10:45 at the fairgrounds today. And then you go to Sunland Park, where they have 6 stakes races today at Sunland Park. They'll start out with the Hedeman Mile, the Red Hedeman Mile. That's the 3rd race on the card, a mile for 3-year-olds. And in that race, 8-5 favorite is Community Leader. Then you go to the 5th race, the Harry Henson Handicap, named after the famous track announcer both in Chicago and in Southern California at Hollywood Park. Had a chance to work under Harry. He was a great guy, and I'm glad to see that they keep this race named after him. His home is right by Sunland there as well, was anyhow. And in the Harry Henson, there are 6 going to the post. 4-5 favorite there is Flying Connection. Joel Rosario is there to ride today. He's riding Flying Connection in the Harry Henson. The Bill Thomas Memorial is the 6th race on the card, and in that race, you got 6 going. 2-1 favorite Jackson Traveler with Joel Rosario aboard. And then the $250,000 Sunland Park Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. No points up for grabs for the Kentucky Oaks, but there's 6 going in that one as well. And the favorite in there, 2-1, is Candy Isle. And then you got the $100,000 Enchantress, a mile for fillies, for 3-year-old fillies. That's the 8th. 8 go to the post on that one. 9-5 favorite is Paying Off My Marker. And then the $400,000 Sunland Park Derby, 20 Kentucky Derby board points for the leader there. Sunland Park has 8 going in that Sunland Park Derby. And the favorite there at 5-2 is Stronghold with Antonio Fresu going there. I do believe that's a Phil D'Amato trainee. 10 races overall at Sunland. A couple of small carryovers there. The pick 5, regular pick 5, $305. And a super high 5 carryover of $639. And a first post time at Sunland Park today with their features at 11:25 there. Santa Anita kicks in at 12:30 with a 9-race card. Feature is the Spring Fever Stakes, 6 furlongs, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. 8th race on the card, 6 go to the post before scratches. A very competitive 6-pack, too. 2-1 favorite there is Caddy's Ruby, Caddy's Ruby, I should say. Edwin Maldonado aboard at a lukewarm 2-1. 9 races at Santa Anita today and a first post time of 12:30. Golden Gate, Northern California has 8 races. Their first post time is 12:45 at Golden Gate. Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $81,216. They got a super high 5 carryover, $2,799. And again, first post time at Golden Gate, 12:45. And then you've got Los Alamitos to wrap it up. Southern California at Los Al. Los Alamitos has a first post time of 5:15. And they also will seed their pick 6 pot today for $10,000. It's Sunday. $10,000 is already in the pick 6 pot there at Los Alamitos, a regular pick 6, not a jackpot, a regular pick 6, but there's $10,000 they seed in there for that for Sundays. 9 races today, 1 thoroughbred, 3 mixed breed, 5 quarter horses, and the final race is the quarter horse feature, the Brad McKenzie Windsor Championship at 400 yards for 4-year-olds and up. And the purse there, $135,400. First post time, 5:15 at Los Alamitos. Time for Jonathan Ardone. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We can go ahead and cut the menu music. Yeah, we've had enough of that. Anyhow, good morning, Jonathan. Your horse came up big yesterday in the Risen Star. He looks like he's got a future, maybe as much as the first Saturday in May at Churchill Downs.
Well, he certainly does. I mean, with the fact that Nisos can't show up certainly doesn't hurt, and I'm sure there's no one in the Chad Brown team that's too upset about it. But at this point, he just looks clearly the best. He's only had 3 starts, so he certainly has room for more improvement, but so far, so good. Listen, they didn't go suicide fractions on the front end.
No.
It was an honest pace, and he closed into it. Of course, Ralph, he really is. And we said it before the race that would be the best pre-Derby race that we've seen so far, and I think it was.
And the good thing about it is he showed another dimension yesterday, and he performed admirably, obviously, on the off track. So now he's proven on a regular track, a fast track. He's proven on an off track. And boy, with just 4 starts and proving all of that, going 2 turns against the most competitive Kentucky Derby prep race so far, this guy should be right at the top of the heap, right?
It was only his 3rd start, so
third start.
That's even better. Not his 4th. Yeah, but listen, his first start as a 3-year-old. first time in blinkers. His last race at Aqueduct, he took the lead and maybe he pulled himself up. That's why Chad Brown put the blinkers on. I'm not sure, but whatever it was, he was professional yesterday, and he wanted on the square and take nothing away from him. The interesting thing about yesterday, Ralph, was
Yeah.
the 13th race, the Rachel Alexander. Tarifa won the race for Brad Cox and won it about as impressively as you can. But all everybody was talking about on social media, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
is the fact that Tarifa was 6-1 when she left the gate and she
Yeah.
paid 5-2. You can't do that, Ralph. You can't. And, when it happens on big days and big races, the whole world gets to see what we everyday players go through. And 6-1 to 5-2, that's not even half.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just terrible. They have to figure a way around this, and it's going to destroy the game. It really is.
well, it's already, a lot of people are already taking notice about that, and that is a subject matter that we can talk more about on Wednesday because you're right, we do need to address that because, look, it's bad enough that you're trying to pick horses with little value in it, and then you get horses with little value in it, and they actually win the race, and you're pretty happy about winning a race, and then you sit there and you say, wait a minute, what happened to the price? That's just not kosher, just not kosher whatsoever. But the thing, I just wanted to express one thing about this Sierra Leone, trained by Chad Brown. Now, this is not Chad Brown's forte. Chad Brown is, he doesn't really participate a lot with a lot of high-priced horses that run in Triple Crown races. He's more of, getting older horses and handicap horses and certainly a lot of grass racing that he's dominant in.
Grass horses. He's known.
Yeah.
Right.
So
He's known for his grass horses. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, for this horse to do what he's doing so far, this horse is forcing like Brown, and Brown not forcing him. You know what I'm saying? I think this horse is showing Brown a lot more than Brown thought.
Yeah, he's telling Chad Brown, I'm taking you to the Derby.
Yeah.
You're not taking me to the Derby. I'm taking you to the Derby.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Listen, he was highly regarded. They paid over $2 million for him, so they knew that he had an opportunity to be something special. But there are plenty of $2 million plus horses that we don't see run, much less turn out to be any good. So it's a great story, and hopefully the horse stays sound and has a healthy future because he looks like he could be something special.
And not even a question about that. Now, we get to the Sunland Park Derby. It's really not on the radar screen of people looking towards the first Saturday in May, but it does have 20, Kentucky Derby leaderboard points. And some of the bigger trainers did send a horse there. Steve Asmussen's got Informed Patriot, which is 3-1. That's why Rosario is there. He'll be riding that horse. And, of course, Phil D'Amato has the favorite from Southern California, Stronghold, an offspring of Go Zapper, that Antonio Fresu will ride, a morning line favorite there. And then, of course, you've got Bill Morey, as I said. He showed up with Lucky Jeremy. So it's going to be a fun race to watch and bet, I think.
Yeah, well, it's a Sunday afternoon, not much going on in the 3-year-old races, so this will take attention, no question about it. And you're right, it still is 20 points, and, you never know. Maybe 20 points get you in somewhere on the bottom. Who knows?
Right.
But it's still 20 points, and you need points to run, so
Right.
you might as well try to take an easy route.
Yeah, well, remember Rich Strike, how he got in the Kentucky Derby from outside looking in, the very last horse in with the cusp points to get in with a late scratch in that race, and he goes on to win the Kentucky Derby in a shocker. So we'll wait and see about that. And, of course, next Saturday, the center of attention will be shifting to Oaklawn Park because they will, of course, hold the Rebel Stakes. I understand Locked is scheduled to go on the Rebel, and that's a grade 2 that has Kentucky Derby points. And, they'll have several other races on the card. And, of course, the Honeybee for 3-year-old fillies is also looking towards the Kentucky Oaks. So we got these prep races now are starting to come each and every weekend, that's for sure. But we'll kind of savor the moment with the Sierra Leone and whoever wins today at Sunland until next weekend. Anyhow, Jonathan, you did great. You did great work for us going over Fairgrounds. Obviously, the horse that you loved won the Risen Star, but you also had selections, and you ran second in both the Fairgrounds Stakes and the Mineshaft. Your horses were well meant, and they were live horses, but they just got beaten by some other horses who were a little bit more live. That's all. But in any case, we will now get to some picks for today. And, of course, you did give us a winner at, I believe, you gave us a winner there at the fairgrounds. So let's get started with what you got for today.
Okay, let's look at the seventh race today. It's a flat mile, one turn on the main track. And by the way, it is absolutely beautiful in New York. It's very cold, but the sun is shining and no snow or rain in sight. So that's a good thing. Anyway, seventh race today, a mile on the main track. And I like the number 10 horse in here, Pit Boss. Pit Boss is a 7-year-old gelding from the David Jacobson barn. He claimed this horse 2 starts back when he ran a big figure. Last time out, he bounced. He was up against the track that day. He draws a good outside box. Isaac Castillo aboard to ride. 10-1 on the morning line. Number 10, Pit Boss, upsets and wins today's 7th race out at Aqueduct.
At the Big A on a beautiful day for racing there. In the 7th race, you like the 10 Pit Boss at 10-1 on the morning line. We'll wait and see where he closes at and see what he pays off at the end. But in any case, the 10 horse in the 7th race. And I got to tell you, Jonathan, you come out for the Kentucky Derby seminars, and you will be coming out again for the Kentucky Derby seminars, staying here at the South Point. Now, listen, my man, there's all the pit bosses out there now that heard you give that horse out. The horse better win. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of these pit bosses frowning at you when you show up here. But in any case, in the 7th race, the 10 Pit Boss is your play at Aqueduct. What about Santa Anita?
Let's go to race number 5, a mile on the main track. And I like the number 5 horse in here, Zimba Warrior. This is a 7-year-old gelding who was claimed 2 starts back by Trident Bob Hess. I like the fact that he goes back and he reclaims a 7-year-old. Kent DeSomo aboard to ride. He's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. Number 5, Zimba Warrior, upsets and wins today's 5th race out at Santa Anita.
And for those of us who've been following racing for a long time, we know that Kent DeSormo and that particular trainer have had very much success together over the years, and now he gets him to ride this horse. Number 5, Zimba Warrior. All indications look like this horse is going to run a monster race, hopefully a race good enough at least to win the race. In the 5th race, number 5, Zimba Warrior, with Kent DeSormo aboard. That is the anchor, of course, in the early pick 5 and early pick 4, and right smack dab in the middle of all the other late race over bets as well. So the 5 in the 5th, easy to remember at Santa Anita. How many seats you got today, Jonathan?
We got Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita, the usual 4.
Yes, and I know that it's a Sunday morning, and a lot of people obviously have gotten their shock treatment now because we have on our screen for the people watching at the South Point Studios feed, you actually sitting there with a tie and a jacket. You look like a politician there. But in any case, that's where you get Jonathan's sheets, and we will talk to you, Jonathan. And certainly with your soapbox for Wednesday, that's for sure.
Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
You got to. By the way, I want to real quick before you leave, want to remind everybody that tomorrow, President's Day, you will have sheets for Oaklawn and Aqueduct on your site, right?
Always at 6 p.m. the night before the races. Correct.
Okay. Thank you, my man. All right, we're taking our break on this Sunday. We're taking our break on this Sunday. When we come back, we'll go to Rich Eng and then, of course, John and Jerry. So don't go away. We're just starting to get some winners here.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Okay, back on race day, I do want to make a correction. When I said Locked might be going in the Rebel, he is not. He's going to go to the Fountain of Youth. That's his next stop. He's possible for the Fountain of Youth at Gulfstream Park. Obviously, he worked the other day in 4 furlongs and 49.68, and he's looking towards the Fountain of Youth at Gulfstream Park. As far as the Rebel is concerned, Timberlake and Muth are both leading the way for probables in the Rebel Stakes. It's a $250,000 race, by the way, a prep for the Kentucky Derby. It's a grade 2. It will be run at Oaklawn Park this coming weekend, and of course, that does hold Kentucky Derby points. Okay, now time to go to Rich Ang standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie.
Well, what'd you think of that race yesterday?
Well, as advertised, because Jonathan broke down the race just perfectly. He was very high on Sierra Leone. Track Phantom ran very well, but hard to come up with an excuse for him. And the horse that I recommended to use on the underneath, Catching Freedom, ran third. So
yeah,
it didn't pay a whole lot, but the trifecta was right there in front of you.
Yeah, the trifecta was decent for the, I guess it was, if you're classifying by the odds, it was like the ABC or ABD horses in the race that ran in that way to the trifecta and exacta, and of course the win. But it was, I can't understand how they can run important races like this and important races all day long at the fairgrounds on their racetrack in sloppy conditions, and we're canceling races in Southern California for the same type of conditions.
I heard you make that comment, and I had the same thought yesterday, Ralph, as I'm watching the races on the muddy track, the sloppy track. I was thinking if that weather had hit Santa Anita on Santa Anita Derby Day, they probably would have canceled, wouldn't they? I mean, they've been doing it recently, so that would raise the specter of something happening on a big day in Santa Anita.
No question about that. And I guess the big question now is who makes those decisions, because if it's a HISA decision, HISA also covers Louisiana. It's part of the United States. So why the difference? And if HISA is not making that decision, then it's got to be a Southern California regulation or decision made within the state of California and their officials. I'll ask John Lindo in just a moment. We'll get a pick from you for Santa Anita, though, today.
Yeah, I did want to make one more comment before
Sure.
I give the pick.
Uh-huh.
Chad Brown, about the only thing missing on his resume is a Kentucky Derby, and I know he's had a couple of close calls. I think Good Magic ran second one year, and he's it's nice to see. Well, not that he is barren of any stock, but people giving him nice dirt horses with dirt pedigree that can go along, and obviously he can train as well as anybody in horse racing. So good luck to Sierra Leone. As far as a pick for today, Ralph, let's go to race number 8. It's the Spring Fever Sprint Stakes. And let's go with number 2, Big Pond, to get the turn the tables on the 3, Daddy's Ruby. The two of them had just a thrilling finish in the La Brea last time out. I'm looking for Big Pond to turn the tables. Frankie Dettori rides this horse for the second time. Maybe that familiarity will help get this horse's nose down at the wire. So number 2, Big Pond in race 8 is my pick today.
All right, the 8th race, the Spring Fever Stakes today. You like the 2, Big Pond. Frankie Dettori aboard, number 2 in the 8th race. And, of course, Rich got all of his selections for Santa Anita today, as he does every Southern California racing day, right at the racedaylasvegas.com websites. And I will make this point when you're talking about Chad Brown, such a great trainer that he is, still missing the Kentucky Derby trophy on his mantle. I remember quite a few years ago, Charlie Whittingham, one of the great trainers of all time, and certainly in Southern California, used to run horses sometimes in the Kentucky Derby. And then he had a long, long draft in between, a long time in between. And he said he'd never go back to the Derby unless he had a horse that really he thought could win the race. He came back to the Derby, and he won that race with Ferdinand and Bill Shoemaker. So maybe we ought to take a close look at what Chad Brown's got going here this year. That's for sure. Hey, thanks a lot, Rich. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yeah, if you want me,
Yeah.
I'll definitely be on Wednesday.
Yeah, sure. We want to get back to your fine tuning for March Madness right around the corner.
Yeah. Okay, Ralph. Hey, thanks. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Coming up next, our final act on this race day show, as it is most days, and that is John and Jerry. Don't go away.
Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
Okay, want to remind you about some of the shows coming up here on South Point Studios each and every day. And, of course, that is 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday. That's us. And then, of course, the Punchline Show with Frank Nicotero. He's on 5 days a week, Monday to Friday from noon to 1 o'clock. These are all Pacific times. And Sports by the Book, 7 days a week. They'll be following us this morning. And they're on Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and Saturday and Sunday as today, from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., and they got all the stuff you need about sports betting, etc. They're really great shows. Now let's go out to John Lindo standing by. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
Well, I can tell you this, my man. Muth is expected to go to Arkansas for the Oak Lawn race, and of course that race is $1,250,000. But if he wins under Bob Baffert's care, he's going to get no Kentucky Derby points. But the money's good, right?
He's running for the purses, Ralph. And I think they enter today for next Saturday at Oaklawn Park. So we should have those Rebel entries by this afternoon sometime Pacific time. So that'll be interesting to see. He will have a representative there. I don't know if it will be Muth or if it will be someone else. Bob Baffert tends to make a game time decision. Mm-hmm. Whoever's doing the best at the current time will show up at Oaklawn.
Yep, for the money. For that money right there that day, not something's happening on the first Saturday in May, that's for sure. John, your thought about observations of the Risen Star yesterday?
That's a good horse. I tell you what, Sierra Leone rallied right into a slow pace. He's still a little green. He wants to lay on horses. The blinkers helped a little bit, but you could tell traveling at the half-mile pole down the backside, he was loaded and just waiting for Tyler Gaffleone to ask him to go. So he was very, very sensible about how he did it. He checked a lot of boxes. He got the mile and eighth, no problem. He'll go further than that. And now that he has enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby, Chad Brown can pick and choose where he wants to go. I understand probably the Bluegrass will be his, at Keeneland will be his final prep for the Derby.
Makes sense. That makes sense. That race there is good. It's well positioned for that final tune-up before the Kentucky Derby, and it's in that state, so you won't have to travel too far. John, I got to ask you, I mean, they ran in the slop. They ran on the soft turf yesterday at Fairgrounds. Everything was fine. Horses performed well. And yet, the skies start clouding up in Southern California, and they say no moss and cancel the races. What's the deal?
Well, first of all, in Louisiana, they're in a legal battle with HISA, so they don't conform to all their rules, so we'll give them that. But you see around the country, I mean, Turfway Park in Kentucky, they were racing in snowstorms this week. It's just the California Horse Racing Board, the rules that we have to run by in California now. And to me, Ralph, you're asking my opinion. They've taken the horsemanship out of being a horseman. They don't want the horseman to decide when to go and when to work. And I don't think that's right. A lot of times you get a little moisture in the track. It's a better surface than when it's dry because it can be very deep. Uh-huh. So these are the rules that we have in California. Our choice is whether to race there or not. Under these conditions, obviously we can't. And as a result, you see the field sizes, and some of the horses have left California to go other places.
Not to mention the fact that you keep canceling races, the horsemen don't have an opportunity to run their horses. And number two, the horses can't stay as fit as they would normally by working out every day and running on some types of different racetracks. You gotta sit there and have a little confidence in the trainer that he's going to take the best care of his horses and not do anything that is detrimental to the horse. That's for sure. I guess you got about 25% chance of rain today.
Yeah, it's cloudy here, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain. If anything, it might come in tonight, and it's supposed to rain pretty good tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but that's tomorrow. So yeah. I'm 98% sure we'll be fast and firm at Santa Anita today.
And, of course, 85%, forget it, it's 100% down there in Florida. I mean, they postponed the Daytona 500 till tomorrow, and we know that both Tampa and Gulfstream have taken all their turf races off the turf, so we'll wait and see there. You have not only selection, the Linda report for selections in all the races today and a suggested late pick for at Santa Anita, but you also put together a coast-to-coast pick 5 on the weekends that they have it. You have one there for today, but I understand that, of course, you're telling everybody to watch the races at Gulfstream on the turf, right?
Well, they're off the grass at Gulfstream Park, and I handicapped the one race that's in the coast-to-coast sequence, race 10 at Gulfstream. I handicapped that thinking that race will end up on Tapeta. So I have no qualms with what I have on the sheet there as far as selections. They're good to go for the synthetic surface.
Great. Glad to hear about that. And now we'll take a winner at Santa Anita off that nice winner yesterday. Paid a nice solid price, too.
Yeah, fair price there. And let's try and get another one. Third race today at Santa Anita. I like the way number 7, First Time in Forever, really ran through the wire last time, won easily without being asked for her best. She takes a slight step up in class. Frankie Dettori looked like he found the keys to the engine here. Sit a nice stalking trip right behind the speed. And if she runs the way she did last time, she's going to win again. 3-1 on the program. Number 7, First Time in Forever. Race number 3, Santa Anita.
Third race, number 7, First Time in Forever. How about First Under the Wire and in the winner's circle? The third race, number 7, is John Lindo's play for the Race Day listeners. Get the rest of the Lindo report, comprehensive as it is, picks in all the races today. Of course, a suggested late pick 4 and a coast-to-coast pick 5 suggestion as well. And the coast-to-coast pick 5, of course, is to the racing conditions that will be at both places today. It's all on one comprehensive sheet, and that is here at the South Point, only at the South Point here in Las Vegas, in our race book here, and it's free of charge because they love horse players and the Linda report as well. John, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yep, and no Linda report tomorrow, though. They canceled Santa Anita. Not enough time to get up to speed on the Oaklawn card tomorrow, so I'm taking a frustrating day off tomorrow.
Okay. Spend some presidents, will you?
We can do that.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
Good luck.
All right, now we're going to go to Jerry Jackowitz standing by. What's this T-shirt you got there? It says Classic on it.
Yeah, this was from 2016 when the Classic concert, there was one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast at Chavez Ravine. It was Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Steely Dan, Journey, Earth, Wind and Fire, and the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 2 days of concerts. It was called the Classic West.
Fantastic. I would pay a good price to just see one of those in concert. By the way, Chicago.
Oh, yeah. No,
Chicago.
The Eagles, well, you can't see Fleetwood Mac anymore. I don't think,
right, yeah.
But if the Eagles are in town, I'm there.
Yeah, that's our generation. That's about where the music that I stopped for listening, that's for sure. Good stuff, that's for sure. I thought maybe it was for the Breeders' Cup Classic, but that Classic's okay. What about the hat?
Yeah. The hat was from Seville.
Okay. Your Seville hat.
They call it the Magic City. The Seville's pretty cool, too, but I recommend it.
All right, well, you got...
there's a lot of good music still out there. There's always good music, Ralph.
Yeah. Music is the human being's sense of marking time. You always have memories with music. No doubt about it. Okay. Now, we had a nice reverse winner yesterday for you. And, of course, if you have a thought or two about the Risen Star, otherwise we'll get to the picks.
Well, actually, the horse, Sierra Leone once again impressed. He's been out 3 times, and he's just run remarkably good races in every race. And he's a big, strong horse. You have to think he's going to get better. The horse that actually really sort of made my eyes pop a little bit was Tuscan Sky in the 3rd race. So he beat Nash. Nash is a nice horse. It was his first time 2 turns, and he finished again fantastically well. This is an unusually good-looking 3-year-old. We may have a heck of a crop this year. I mean, there may be a bunch of good ones. So
yes.
We'll see.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I noted that as well in the 3rd race. It was early on the card at the fairgrounds, but in the 3rd race, Tuscan Sky raised a few eyebrows. I don't know where he's going next, but I'm going to think he's probably maybe going in a race that might have some Kentucky Derby implications. We'll wait and see about that. But that was a solid win. All right, time to get started, Jerry.
Yeah, if he's not a number 1 in Pletcher's Barn, who is? Let's see. We'll see some good ones.
Well, I guess what is it? His fierceness still in there?
Oh, yeah, fierceness. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
He's pretty good. All right, let's go to the 7th today. We'll try Daddy's Nose, the 9 horse in the 7th at Aqueduct. Make a nice win place bet here. Let me click up over here. And, we're getting 3-1, so we're really going to stay mostly in the win position here. I'll take the 9 over the 5, 6, 7, 10. Do some reverses, 5, 6, 7, 10 back over the 9. But the 9, Daddy Knows for Ray Handel. Great trainer. 6 wide, trying to get to the lead last time out. It was just a little bit too much in the slop. Repeats that race, he's going to be tough to beat.
And this particular race is a 1-mile race, so it's just a 1 turn, 1 mile at Aqueduct, right?
Yeah, the last one was 2.
Yeah. Okay, here's the deal. You got the 9, Daddy Knows, over 5, 6, 7, and 10. Jonathan came earlier with the 10, so I got a Siraco play from you 2 guys in the 7th race at Aqueduct. Yeah. Again, you're 9 over 5, 6, 7, 10, and reverse. And Jonathan is the 10, so I got the 9, 10, 10, 9 exacta box for a Siraco play in the 7th race at Aqueduct. What about Santa Anita?
What about it? Let's go over to race number 5. Let's get some good juju. The 4 horse for Peter Uriton. I mean, we're all playing Peter Uriton because it seems like the last week he has to win every race. It seems like he's just been really hot. But this horse is nice, coming off a little freshening from December 30th. Runs really good figures. Top trainer. It's got Juan up, and 4-1 is very generous for this horse. So I have to take it. I'll take the 4 over the 1, 3, 5. Do reverses 1, 3, 5 over the 4. If he goes down below 2-1, I'll pass.
All right, I got another ding, ding, ding here because Jonathan also came at Santa Anita in the 5th race. He liked the 5 Zimba Warrior. So you guys are giving me 2 great Siraco plays here today. In the 5th race at Santa Anita, Jerry likes number 4, Good Juju, the 4 over 1, 3, and Jonathan's 5. So it's the 4 over 1, 3, 5, and reverse. And again, I'm going to do the Siraco play exacta box, the 4, 5, 5, 4 at Santa Anita. So we got a couple of Siraco plays there from our handicappers here on the show. And, of course, we will get those horses home a winner and have a nice Sunday evening dinner, that's for sure. All right, Jerry, you have been on Wednesdays coming on the show to give a little bit of, not so much instructions, but philosophies on betting strategies, etc. Are you planning on doing that this Wednesday?
Sure. I'd love to.
Okay. Now, we want to remind everybody.
I think last week we talked about using the 3rd and 4th position for long shots.
Yes, we did.
How inexpensive it is.
Okay, so Jerry, you'll be with us on Wednesday for another session on your thoughts about betting strategies and how to maximize wagering strategies and value. I want to remind everybody that Jerry J's Power Page will be available tomorrow, President's Day, for Aqueduct. Aqueduct and Oak Lawn are running tomorrow. Santa Anita and Golden Gate have scratched out. But you will have a Power Page for Aqueduct tomorrow, as well as today for Santa Anita and Aqueduct at your website, right?
Correct.
And do you want to plug that website?
Yeah, jerryjpowerpage.com. That's jerryjpowerpage.com. Simple.
There you go.
Just type in Jerry J into your Google, and it usually comes right up.
Okay, you got it, my man. That's the way we're going to end our Sunday show and our shows for this week. But we'll be back on Wednesday. God willing, creek don't rise. Jerry's got one more thing to say. Say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.